You are relieved of your duties, effective immediately. Leave the premises. The voice didn't even sound human. It was a cold, distorted crackle coming through the steel intercom speaker. Alexander Vance, the youngest billionaire in the city's history, didn't even have the decency to open the front door. He fired Elena while sipping 20-year-old scotch by his fireplace, safe behind 3 inches of bulletproof glass. Outside, the reality was different. It was Christmas Eve, and the blizzard of the decade was burying the city. Elena stood frozen at the massive iron gates. She wasn't just shaking from the biting wind that cut through her thin, worn-out coat. Her hand instinctively went to her stomach. She was 7 months pregnant. She had nowhere to go, no savings, and now, no job. "Mr. Vance, please," she whispered to the silent camera lens, her voice breaking. "The buses stopped running. It's 20 below zero. Please, just let me stay in the garage until morning." Static. Then, a click. He had turned the system off. Inside the mansion, Alexander adjusted his silk tie. He felt justified. A diamond cufflink was missing from his dresser, a small item, insignificant to his net worth, but it was the principle. He was convinced she had taken it. Poor people steal. That was the equation in his cynical world. He turned up the thermostat, the warmth of the fire contrasting the white hell outside his window. 10 minutes passed, then 20. A strange feeling, a nagging guilt he hadn't felt in years, made Alexander walk to the floor-to-ceiling window. He expected the driveway to be empty. He expected her to have walked away into the dark. She hadn't. Through the swirling snow, he saw a small, dark shape collapsed near the security booth. She was curled into a ball on the concrete, the snow already forming a white shroud over her body. Something in Alexander's chest tightened. Panic. He wasn't a murderer. He set down his glass and sprinted for the door. The cold hit him like a physical blow as he ran down the driveway in his dress shoes. "Elena!" he shouted, but the wind swallowed his voice. When he reached her, her lips were blue. She was barely breathing, her body shutting down to protect the child inside her. But it wasn't her condition that stopped Alexander's heart. It was what she was clutching in her frozen, red hand. Her fist was closed tight, holding something against her chest, as if it was more precious than her own life. Alexander fell to his knees in the snow. He frantically rubbed her arms, trying to wake her, and gently pried her frozen fingers open. He expected to find the stolen cufflink. He expected proof of her crime. Instead, he found a small, crumpled photograph. It was an old, water-damaged picture of Alexander as a boy, standing with his late mother. He had thrown it in the trash 2 days ago in a fit of rage, claiming he didn't want any reminders of the past. Elena hadn't stolen jewelry. She had dug through the garbage to save the only memory he had left of the only person who had ever loved him. Under the photo, there was a sticky note, written in her shaky handwriting. "You are not alone, sir. Merry Christmas." Tears, hot and unfamiliar, streamed down the billionaire's face, freezing on his cheeks. He had fired her for theft, yet she was out here freezing to death protecting his memories. He didn't wait for an ambulance. He scooped her up, she felt terrifyingly light, and carried her back into the mansion, screaming for his security staff to prepare the car. That night, in the emergency room waiting area, the billionaire didn't look like a king of industry. He looked like a man who had finally learned the cost of a human soul. When the doctor finally came out and nodded, telling him that both the mother and the baby would survive, Alexander Vance buried his face in his hands and wept. He hired her back, of course, but not as a housekeeper. He bought her a house down the street, set up a trust fund for her unborn daughter, and for the first time in his life, he realized that loyalty isn't something you buy. It's something you earn. And the diamond cufflink? He found it 3 weeks later. It had fallen behind the nightstand. He looked at it for a moment, then threw it into the trash. It was worthless compared to what he had almost lost in the snow. Money can buy a mansion, but it cannot buy a home. Alexander was lucky he learned the difference before it was too late, but not everyone gets a second chance. If this story touched your heart, please hit the like button. It helps us share these moments with the world. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. You definitely don't want to miss our next story. About a CEO who rejected his own daughter at a job interview, not realizing who she really was. Trust me, the ending will leave you speechless. See you tomorrow.